So, hello everybody. Welcome to the Sandro Linux Community Podcast. So today we will be talking about a few stories, a bit of some library stuff, as well as, of course, the main story here to do with the Xbox MasterCard stuff. Yeah. So we'll actually get started in a minute, guys, with the recording. But first, I will just take a quick sip of water. Okay. And yeah, so we'll get started here now. So, hey guys, welcome to the Sandro Linux Community Podcast. It is the 19th of April. Hopefully you can hear the people on the Discord today. So, hello, Piggus. Oh, that you can't hear Piggus here. So I will fix that very quickly. I'll fix that very quickly because we had this problem last week, and I remembered how to fix it. So, hello, Piggus. Let me see. Hello, hello. Yeah, no, I'm talking about on a different bit of the different the actual stream, not the Discord. Like, you can hear it on the Discord, but you can't hear them on the stream, if you can see what I mean. Okay, so try and say something again, Piggus, in just a second, now. Okay, so I need to remember what went wrong last time. What went wrong? Thankfully, we don't have any current viewers, so we're all good. But yeah, let's see here. What's going on? So it says the output is a multi-output device, so that should include the hopefully should include the audio capture. Let me see that. Yeah. So now say something, Piggus, or Farmer Josh.
Hello.
Okay, so now it should be working. That is good. You can now hear them on stream. Now let's actually get the elements in, so we can actually get the actual windows. So yeah, let me find that. Why don't I just copy over these elements? Let me do that. Copy. You can now see some of the elements being moved over on the stream. So yeah. Sorry about switching between these two scenes here, guys. I'm just trying to copy stuff over.
Use studio mode.
Use studio mode? What does studio mode do exactly? Do you know?
Like you can preview things and do things before you like stream it actually.
That might be a helpful feature, Pickett. Yeah. Yeah, I've never noticed that feature before. I don't know how I haven't. Anyway, let's actually get started now. Yeah. Yeah, so now we've got everything working. Let me just check, are the audio levels okay? Just say something.
Are they good?
Okay. That's a bit quiet, I think. I'll up the levels a small bit. Okay. I think that's good.
Sounds good. Great.
Yeah, so, let's get started here. So, hey guys, welcome to the Sandro Linux Community Podcast. It is the 19th of April. It is a Friday, and today we are discussing Xbox. Apparently, you can now get an Xbox MasterCard in the US. In library-related news, Odysee may be moving away from library. So, there's a lot of stories to discuss this week, guys. So, let's just get into them. So, first, with the headline story here. So, the Xbox MasterCard. So, now an official customizable Xbox MasterCard is available throughout the US. So, you can now apply for one of these cards. It does offer some rewards. So, if you spend more than $1, you can earn some card points. However, it is not totally apparent whether these card points, like what these card points will be exactly worth, and what the exact conversions will be. But of course, this is a free card, so you can't really expect too much of a free credit card when it comes to rewards. But there may be better options for people, and overall, I think this is a pretty niche product potentially. I'm not sure how many people really need a Xbox credit card and how many people want one, but it is now an option in the US. There is no word on whether this will be coming to international markets. We don't know yet, but it is now an option for you US consumers. So yeah, any thoughts on this part, Farmer Josh?
Not really. I have one credit card and that's enough. So
Yeah, so I wonder how lenient they'll be with the credit checks here. Will it be like a hard credit card to get for people in the US, or whether it will be an easy one? I mean, I don't see the partner bank either. Like, who are they partnering with here? Are they doing it by the... Oh, MasterCard, just MasterCard in general.
that is a little strange, yeah.
They aren't a bank, like, typically, So, are Microsoft trying to get more into the realm of finance? I suppose. Yeah, we've seen, like, Apple launching an Apple Card, but that wasn't actually them launching it solely by themselves. It was with Goldman Sachs, who are, of course, an experienced financial, institution, I suppose. And Microsoft is just partnering with MasterCard here, with no real bank behind it, which is interesting. We'll see how that goes for Microsoft, and whether these rewards will actually be worth it for card holders, or whether people will start sort of giving it some poor reviews, I suppose. Yeah. I mean, traditionally, percentage like cashback rewards were more typical, but this is a bit of a point system, so I'm not really sure how that will all convert. However, I think it will work with the existing Microsoft rewards structure, so yeah. Anyway, moving on to the next story. So this is not actually... Yeah, so here's a AI story. So let me just copy this over. So Meta is apparently rolling out a new Meta AI website. and it looks pretty sleek, and it allows you to interact with this new Meta LLM. So it's based on the Llama 3 model, which is what the new Meta AI is based on. And this is basically a competitor to ChatGPT and the other AI offerings. And of course, we could expect Meta coming out with an AI assistant. But of course, it's obviously quite an obvious thing for them to do as an AI company. But it looks pretty interesting. However, the privacy aspect of things, not a lot of people trust Facebook that much. So whether people trust them with AI capabilities, I mean, I hope people are a bit skeptical of Meta's privacy promises. But of course, a lot of people use Instagram and other Meta products. So, you can't hope too much, I suppose. Do you guys have any thoughts on this?
Can't say I do, man.
I mean, another AI assistant contributing towards this sort of AI craze, I suppose. Now, moving on to the next story. So, Meta is adding another Meta story here, but this one's a bit more interesting, I suppose. Meta is adding real-time AI image generation to WhatsApp. So now you will actually have some cloud AI generation using, Meta AI on WhatsApp. So now you can actually message Meta AI and generate images using text messages. So this is an interesting use of WhatsApp. So perhaps this will be, pretty useful for some people if they can type something in. And as this sort of demonstration here shows, potentially being able to generate different images based on their prompt. So this could be a pretty interesting thing to do with WhatsApp. But of course, it is probably not always going to be the fastest. Perhaps it will be pretty fast, but I'm not sure whether this will be popular. Who knows? Do you guys think it will be popular? I mean, I don't know if having to message an AI will exactly be that popular. Yeah.
I mean, it's a bit different than everything else they are doing all the time. Like, everyone makes an AI assistant. This is at least a little bit unique.
Yeah. And from this GIF here, it appears that it will be able to generate different images sort of quite dynamically based on your prompt as you type it. If that is a feature, that would be pretty cool, but I'm not exactly sure if that will be the current implementation or whether that is just the sort of vision.
It looks like too fast.
Yeah, it looks way too fast for actual today's image generation. Of course, Meta are a big company, so they could potentially have the cloud capacity to do stuff like this. However, it is not immediately apparent. So yeah, we'll just have to see how this works practically. Yeah. Now, moving on to a gaming story here. So, the Roquette brand is apparently being ditched by the parent company Turtle Beach. So, for quite a long time, Roquette were quite a big competitor to Turtle Beach. But recently they were acquired by Turtle Beach, and now it appears that the German brand Rocket will be going away. So apparently, they'll no longer be launching products with this brand, and we will slowly see the disappearance of this relatively well-known gaming brand. Yeah. Quite well known for like third-party accessories, mainly cheap stuff, if memory serves me, maybe not. But I remember they used to sell like gaming chairs and all sorts of stuff like that. And yeah, now apparently that brand will be sunsetted. Sunsetted? Sure. Anyway, moving on to the next story, unless either of you have any thoughts on this. Yeah. Okay, so, Android AV1 decoding is being added to most devices with a new update. So AV1 has been something people have been discussing for years at this point. But now we may actually see a proper implementation of AV1 in some major applications on Android. So, YouTube is a pretty big app on the Android side of things, and even on iPhone, of course. And yeah, YouTube will now be using AV1 on supported Android devices, and AV1 is of course a better open standard for decoding, and it is now being implemented in more and more applications which use video, so that could only be really a positive thing, in my opinion. Do you guys have any thoughts on this? Okay, so moving right along to the next story here. So, Alt Store is being launched on iPhone in the EU. So, this is a pretty big story. So, for a few months now, there's been discussion about alternative app stores in the EU, and now we are actually seeing the first one. So there's only a few apps on this app store. At one point it was only 2 applications. They may have added a few since then. But a relatively small amount of apps on this app store. And of course they will still have to be approved by Apple for this third-party distribution. So some people may say some of the benefits may be a bit null and void when it comes to actually software freedom and the ability to have more control of your device. But, of course, this could be useful for some people. And for those people, they can now pay, €1.50 per year for access to the store. So that is a pretty small fee, and if you want to try out this app store, you can now actually use it without having to use a weird side loading method where you have to use like a macOS installer and go through all sorts of hoops. Now you can actually just pay a flat fee per year plus VAT, so you will have to pay that extra VAT. but
Mm.
you can still access the worldwide version using that sort of loophole developer method. But now there is a bit of an easier way of getting this app store. So yeah, a positive move for competition, I suppose, and a positive move for people using iPhone in general, I suppose. Do you guys have any thoughts on this one?
Why do Apple have to
I
make things so
suppose.
complicated?
Yeah, I mean, if they could just simplify things, if they could just say, you could just download a .ipa file, and you can just install the app that you want, and you can just do that, and we don't have to check it if we, we don't have to restrict you from downloading apps. It would be a lot more simple if they just took that Android model, but no, of course they have to take the classic Apple approach of a walled garden. But now, of course, the EU have forced their hand a slight bit with requiring them to at least implement a bit of an alternative to the App Store. But of course, this isn't the best App Store alternative that there could be, and it is quite limited in scope. But yeah, disappointing in some terms, I suppose. Anyway, moving on to a bit more of an exciting story. This should not be in the desktop news section, this should be in the mobile section. But we're covering it anyway. So, Polestar is the EV maker is apparently now launching a smartphone. So, this smartphone will probably have some pretty heavy integrations with the EVs, and this is going to be shown off at a show, maybe. But yeah, this is a pretty interesting looking phone, I would say. And it will probably be a bit more of a premium phone from the looks of it. We don't know exact price points yet, but the Hyundai-owned company, Polestar, may be launching a new phone based on the Mizu line of phones, so an existing base. Because Hyundai do now actually own Mizu. Is it Hyundai own Mizu now? I think so. But anyway, that's interesting, I suppose. What are your thoughts on this, guys? No thoughts? Either of you still there?
Yes.
Just checking. So Vola is apparently launching. Oh yeah, just to correct myself back there, I'm not sure who owns Mizu right now, but yeah, they are launching a phone based on that phone. Yeah. So Vola tablets are apparently now going to be a thing. So previously Vola launched the Vola phone, and now they are heading into the tablet space. So this Linux tablet maker and phone maker they're now launching a Kickstarter program for this new device. And it will support a customized version of AOSP Android, as well as Ubuntu Touch. So you can get the best of both worlds here. If you want to have Android, you can have Android, or if you want to have Linux, You can have Ubuntu Touch with the WayDroid container system, meaning you can actually use some Android apps. So either way, you can still get some Android compatibility and some app support. So either way, you are going to, have a device which you can use for your purposes, hopefully. But we will have to see how this does in this Kickstarter campaign and whether it raises its required amount. Let's see, where is it right now? Okay. It appears to... Has it already met its goal? Yeah, it has. Okay, so it's already met its goal. That's cool. So we will probably see this thing launching soon. So we will hopefully be able to see a new Linux tablet in the near future. As a Linux user, Piggus, do you have any thoughts on this one?
Looks really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there was the... I forget the name of it. What was the Jing OS tablet? There was a Jing OS device which was launched by a Chinese company. But now Vola are also getting into the Linux tablet business. Yeah. If they could be designed like a more sort of tablet-first UI for these Linux devices, perhaps that would be a good addition. Because right now it looks like a desktop OS just slapped onto a tablet, which is not always optimal. Especially when this tablet... Oh, sorry. Yeah. But yeah, especially when this tablet does not actually have a attachable keyboard as of yet. So, yeah, that is not really the best for being able to interact with a UI which is actually optimized for this use case. And yeah, overall, perhaps the Linux side of things could do with a bit of a software update. I don't know. Perhaps Vola could do their own distro. Who knows? Did you hear that Linus Tech Tips is that they've hinted at making a Linux distro during one of their videos, but I really don't know what that would be like. Yeah. Will it just be like Ubuntu skinned, or will it be something else? Who knows?
I think something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, the next story we're going to discuss here is a Microsoft one. So, another ad push by Microsoft, another attempt to make some more ad revenue. So, apparently, the ads which were in the Windows 10 start menu are now going to start to plague the Windows 11 desktop. So you'll now see these recommended applications, just like you would have seen in the old Windows 10 experience. If you remember Candy Crush, you couldn't uninstall it. But now it appears that Microsoft are going back down this old route. Not a popular one, but of course it will make them money. And this is, of course, a money-making opportunity for Microsoft. However, it won't be the best for the consumer. Now, you can disable this. However, the majority of people probably won't think to do so or know that they actually can. So that is a bit of a problem for ordinary users. Now, moving on to the last story here. So, DuckDuckGo has launched a VPN. Yeah, apparently they're using. It appears they're using their own servers here. Correct me if I'm wrong. But apparently you can now buy this only in the US to start with. So you can connect to a few different servers. Maybe not the widest selection here, but of course it's fine if you just want some basic countries which you can connect to. If you just want to connect to some of the sort of Western countries. However, if you do want to connect to, let's say, I don't know, if you want to connect to a server in let me think here. If you wanted to connect to a server in like Vietnam or like, I don't know, Thailand or something, you won't get that selection potentially on DuckDuckGo VPN. But for a ordinary consumer who isn't exactly, a sort of tech nerd or whatever, this could be a pretty nice service for them because it's a nice simple VPN which you can just install and connect. But of course, if you want to try a VPN and you're not afraid of maybe a bit more of a sort of less user-friendly experience, but, still pretty user-friendly, perhaps you could go with something like Mulvad, because, yeah, it's a bit cheaper. So apparently $10 is the price of DuckDuckGo VPN compared to the €5 of Mulvad. And Mulvad does actually offer more server selection, but I would be still interested to try DuckDuckGo VPN, but it may not be the best option for more technical users. Do you guys have any thoughts on that one?
It seems like they have their own servers for it.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I know like Mozilla launched Mozilla VPN, Firefox VPN, and it's just like reskinned Mulvad. And really, you don't need that. But of course, if you do want to, if you do trust DuckDuckGo with your data, it is a US-based company, so they are, they do have that jurisdiction. So whether you want that or not, it's your choice. But yeah, but it is their own servers, so at least they're doing that. And yeah, overall, an interesting offering from the folks over at DuckDuckGo. But yeah, I think we've pretty much wrapped it up here, guys. Unless you want to discuss, do you want to discuss the library stuff?
And briefly mention it, yeah.
Yeah, I will actually be publishing a proper video discussing this, the details of this, and discussing what we know right now, and what my thoughts are, I suppose. But briefly, it appears right now that Odysee may be moving away from the library protocol and LBC. In favor of Arweave, or how do you pronounce it? Do you guys know? Arweave?
Are we?
I've been calling it Airweave myself, so
Yeah, I don't know. It's AR Weave, so I suppose it's
Yeah.
Arweave. Anyway, that does not matter. Yeah, so they have not actually really been clear, at least from what I've seen on, as in Odysee, have not been clear on whether they have been bought by a different company, or whether what the terms of the what actually resulted from the auction. Yeah, it's been sort of silent on that, unless I'm wrong.
Like they did
no,
say,
there-
yeah.
Yeah. So
sorry
we don't.
about that.
we don't really know, do we? Like, who actually owns Odysee right now, right?
I mean, Julian said something that.
Yeah. So Julian, just for those who are not aware, not all of our regular viewers and regular listeners are, Odysee or library users. So we should keep people,
Yeah.
so people don't feel like this segment of the show is a bit sort of like they don't know what we're talking about. Julian is the CEO of Odysee. Jeremy Kaufman is was the CEO of Library. And
I think it's technically not like. I think it's still around. Library Inc.
Yeah, he's
okay.
technically still the CEO of Library Inc. They haven't finished dissolving the company.
Okay, so I stand corrected here. Library Inc. is still it's still a company, so he is still the CEO of that company. And Library and Odysee, they're sort of a YouTube competitor. So Library is the sort of platform and the decentralized technology, so the sort of technology behind it. And Odysee is the sort of web front end. So that's how I would put it, just to be a bit simple, just to like simplify things, I suppose. Yeah. And so Odysee, of course, with the SEC case against Library, so the US government suing Library Incorporated, Library came into some financial difficulty due to that, and of course the final judgment was, against them, I suppose. So that meant that they ended up winding down operations pretty much, and they span off Odysee, I mean. They span off Odysee as a separate company, and then Odysee had the CEO Julian, and he continued in that role when it actually became its own company. But they did apparently agree to some sort of agreement that they would continue using the library protocol, but they apparently are claiming that it is some form of blackmail, and that somehow the CEO of a library was blackmailing the future CEO of Odysee. So, I mean, I'm not going to comment upon this right now because I don't know the full story, but it is a pretty messy situation. But yeah, there is a legal agreement.
Really
I will pull up the legal agreement on screen for you guys to see, so you guys can actually see it. So yeah, but we'll have to see where that goes. I'm going to comment a bit more upon it when I do my dedicated video on this. So watch the channel on YouTube and on Library for that video, which I'll be putting out soon. But I'm not gonna give any of my thoughts here right this second. But do you guys have anything you want to say on the matter? Yeah.
It's complicated.
Honestly, it's pretty. I don't know. It's a legally binding agreement. They're just basically hoping that they don't get sued over it. Oh, that's what it really comes down to. The accusations of blackmail and such. That's just a bunch of bull. Oh, and it's actually a pretty bad accusation to make of somebody in the U.S. So,
if that isn't actually correct, could that be classed as like like defamation or something?
Yes. Yeah, it'd be a form of slander, basically. So
So, does Julian live in the US as the CEO of Library? Oh, not Library, Odysee, I mean.
to the best of my knowledge, he does.
Yeah.
So if I remember right, he lives somewhere. I think he lives in Las Vegas, where their headquarters are on Odyssey.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool. But yeah, there's been some involvement with Arweave. If I'm correct, Arweave was sort of propping up Odyssey at one point, somehow.
Yes, they have been the financial backer that's kept them alive. Because oh shoot, last time I figured it up, Odyssey was losing over $1 million a year.
Over
So that they're never barely been self-supporting.
over $1 million a year. So yeah, that is quite the financial deficit, I suppose. And yeah, they're not going to be able to deal with that without the backing of another company, I suppose.
See, and that's kind of the weird thing. They've claimed Arweave isn't a company, but has been supporting them. They've been very bad about providing details, to be quite honest.
Yeah, and
Um,
whenever people ask for this information, Julian says, we'll provide it soon. And so when that soon is, we'll have to wait and see. But hopefully we do get some of the details soon. Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the last bit discussing a bit about this Odysee library stuff. And yeah, there's a bit of controversy there, but we will discuss that. I will be discussing that on a future video, so watch out for that one. I will also be coming out soon, hopefully, with a review of the Nokia Lumia 800. But yeah, I will see you guys soon. So yeah, thank you guys for watching once again. You want to say goodbye, guys?